We want to try to be competitive and to get the best employees that we can for the citizens of Cape Girardeau.
That apparently is a challenge, as Cape police officers and firefighters are some of the lowest paid in the region. Next week, Cape Girardeau voters head to the polls, and on the ballot, a property tax increase to boost pay for public safety. The question tonight, would this new tax make the city competitive again? Crystal Britt is here tonight with a First Alert investigation.
Most of the people I've talked to agree that police and fire should be paid more. But some citizens came to me with questions that, quite honestly, were difficult to get answered. Public safety, putting in the extra work in recent weeks, fighting fires, going on medical calls, and investigating crimes. On April 2nd, voters in Cape Girardeau will head to the polls. The ask? A property tax increase. The city says it's a levy dedicated to police officer and firefighters' salaries and benefits.
The ordinance and the ballot language reads solely for public safety, and we legally cannot use it for anything else.
Shortages and low pay, some of the big concerns right now.
Since 2020, we've had 17 resignations, coupled with 9 retirements.
Right now, out of a staffing of 77 authorized officers, I'm short 10 officers.
We're losing folks to the St. Louis area.
The police and fire chiefs are staying busy answering questions about this measure.
We are trending back up a little bit in getting officers hired. Late 2022, early 2023, we were down over 20 officers. So we've seen some progress, but it's been a very slow progress, and a lot of that I think is attributable to the salaries of our agency versus agencies around us.
I don't think any firefighter that you talk to would say that they go into this profession expecting to make millions of dollars, but I think they do go in to make a good wage, a good competitive wage.
If passed by the voters, the money from the new tax is projected to bring in about $2 million a year.
The initial raise will be 8% for public safety. As we move forward, it's going to be increased each year as the budget allows.
Assistant City Manager Trevor Pulley sat down with us to answer our questions after the city manager, Kenny Haskin, told us he could not go on camera due to legal matters within the city. As for the tax increase,
25 cents per 100.
So, for example,
at the end of the year, you may, if you have a $350,000 home, it's $200 more a year. And if you don't own a home and you don't own cars, you won't be paying for it.
Cape Girardeau's population, just under 40,000, but the city says that doesn't include the daily numbers where Cape sees upwards of 100,000 people.
Because we have the hospitals, we have the retail, we've got the university. So our policing is reflective of a much larger city.
Compare Cape to communities like Jackson, population 15,000. The minimum base pay for a Jackson officer and firefighter is $48,000. Cape is right at $44,000 for starting base pay for both. And take a look at the difference in amount of calls for both departments. In Cape, more than 43,000 last year for police. In Jackson, just over 18,000 calls in 2023. The Jackson Fire Department, just over 1,700 calls last year compared to Cape Fire's 6,700.
Everybody has financial stress, but it's hard to retain and keep when I can work 8 miles down the road to make significantly more with less call volume than we have here.
Regionally, in our records request to several cities, we found Cape Public Safety is among the lowest paid. Take a look. Paducah and Carbondale, with lower populations, about 23% higher for starting pay. Even smaller cities like Poplar Bluff, Sykeston, and Perryville, also higher than Cape.
We have more fire calls, we have more emergency medical calls. It's just things that come with a bigger city is there's more responsibility.
Andy Matthews is a captain at the Cape Girardeau Fire Department and president of the local 1084 Firefighters Association.
We have lost a lot of individuals to other departments that have higher pay, etc. And then we have lost some people to regular traditional jobs.
They're down 4 positions right now. And adding to the struggle,
We're not having very good luck with getting qualified applicants in.
and on the police side,
We send our officers to the SEMA Law Enforcement Academy, and we see Springfield, Kansas City, St. Louis, Columbia even coming to our academy and recruiting officers and offering them much higher pay. So even our recruiting pool has shrunk.
so how did CAPE get to this point?
Other smaller agencies and other police departments, they make more than the Cape officers because of their city's tax rate is higher than Cape Girardeau's. So Cape Girardeau's tax rate at 0.30 is half of what Jackson, Dexter, and some other places are, so their officers are able to make more due to the fact that the tax rate is a lot higher.
Historically, voters in CAPE have supported taxes that benefit public safety. For example, the marijuana tax last year, with part of the funds going to the police department for mental health and drug treatment and prevention. Money from that is just starting to gain traction. According to the city, it's brought in more than $200,000 this year. It's something I'm told the police department will benefit from once the money becomes more consistent, possibly later this year. Another measure, the use or internet tax in 2021. The city says it generated more than $3 million in 2023. The city told us before the vote that the tax could be used to help boost public safety salaries. Well, after it passed, they did implement a new pay plan, and all city employees got a raise. The minimum, I'm told, was 3%. We asked for the records on all of those pay raises to see who got what. We're told it will take weeks to get those numbers. As for the main questions some of you asked us to find out. First, will this tax be enough to get CAPE up to par?
It will get us much closer, I think so. It gets us at least competitive with our surrounding agencies. We wouldn't be able to just stay at that 8%. We still got to keep looking forward and keep moving that needle, but that gets us a good bump that I think would help us in the recruiting.
And the number one question, can the city guarantee all of the money from it will go directly to police and fire?
It states in the statute, the amendments, that is solely dedicated just for public safety only. So this is a dedicated tax for them that the city cannot use for anything else.
Again, this is on the ballot April 2nd in Cape Girardeau. If the voters say yes, we will stay on this and follow the money for you. You can find more details by checking out this story at KFVS12.com. Crystal Britt, Heartland News.